This has been a very tough day, a long road since November 6, 2017, when Constable John Davidson was gunned down in Abbotsford while doing his duty. I would like to thank all of the police who have done such an amazing job. They were so professional, the Abbotsford police in particular, who came upon, of course, the unimaginable horror of finding their friend and colleague laying face down with 2 shots to his back and his back of his neck. They conducted themselves with the utmost of professionalism and dignity in the face of an unimaginable horror. And there have been numerous times during this case when I've thought to myself of the Charles Dickens opening line of A Tale of Two Cities, but backwards. It was the worst of times, it was the best of times. The worst of times, of course, being for the Davidson family, of the unimaginable loss of their father, husband, brother, etc. But also the best of times in the sense of the countless civilians who phoned 911, who ran out to help Constable Davidson, who ran to his assistance not knowing where the shooter was, where the killer was, and the police officers who were on the scene within a few seconds and did the same thing. And then Mr. Arfman, who escaped from the scene where he killed Constable Davidson, was found within just a couple of minutes and arrested. And the Abbotsford police there also conducted themselves with amazing professionalism and incredible reserve and measured response. Their fallen comrade, who many of them knew was dead, and yet they dealt with him with the dignity and the requirements that a police officer has for every citizen that they deal with, and that's to their credit.
Good morning, everyone. John's family asked if I could just read a statement from him, so I'll start with that. The Davidson family wish to thank everyone who played any positive part in the journey to today's sentencing. Based on the hard evidence, the judge has put Oscar Arfman behind bars for life for murdering a wonderful husband and father. This won't alleviate our struggles in the future, but anything less would have been unjust and an insult to John's memory. We feel it's the only fair outcome for Arfman, for John, our remaining family, the Abbotsford Police Department, and society as a whole. We are incredibly grateful that justice was served today. November 6th will always remain a very difficult time. I am so incredibly proud of the men and women of the Abbotsford Police Department on that day when we had the call of shots being fired in that parking lot, that our men and women raced to the scene. They were there to support John when he was shot and killed. The community was there to protect John and to try to save his life. And then also a short time later that when he was taken into custody through a very dynamic arrest, which was so incredibly brave by all the members involved. And I also want to just take a second to thank IHIT for what they have done for the Vancouver Police Department, their forensic unit, their firearms experts. All our brothers and sisters in policing who came there to support us over and over again was just amazing. The e-com, we've just had an overwhelming amount of support from the community. But what I can say is we are a very tough, resilient, and proud police department. But this will forever be with us. It's a part of our history, and we will honor John as we move forward.
Importantly, what happened today is the victims of Mr. Arfman's crime, the Davidson family, had a chance to talk about the impact of that crime on their lives. That's what happened today. The other thing that happened today is Mr. Arfman was sentenced to life imprisonment with no eligibility for parole for 25 years. First of all, you have to understand that Mr. Arfman doesn't believe that he killed anybody.
To what degree does he appreciate what actually happened here today?
Very little. I mean, he doesn't believe he killed anybody, and he thinks he's the victim, as he said, he thinks he's the victim of a car accident caused by the police. According to him, he was just driving along when his car was rammed by a number of police vehicles. What we've got here is a man who is schizophrenic, who is going to spend the rest of his life in jail. Now, there are a lot of schizophrenics in jail, and a lot of healthy schizophrenics who are not in jail. But the sad thing for Mr. Arfman is that his condition, which he's been diagnosed with, is not one which will ever be treated, probably, unless he consents to that treatment, but if you ask him, he would say, "I'm not crazy." So why would he consent to, for example, a course of medication?